Hello and welcome back to NES Generation.
Today we're going to be doing another Black Box episode where we go back and look at the early NES release games, often referred to as the Black Box games, because they all had the same cover art style. We're going to be looking specifically today at Excite Bike, a game that I had growing up, probably one of the first, I think it was the first two NES games I had, and should be interesting to have Laurel go back and take a look at that one. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, Laurel's checking out Excite Bike.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I mentioned in the intro, I think this was the second game
Oh, was it?
I got for my NES.
I
think I got...
thought you meant second game series.
No. There was a Excite Bike for... I think N64 they came out with an Excite Bike. But yeah, they haven't done a whole lot of sequel stuff with this series. There was a Excite Truck on the Wii, which had nothing to do with Excite Bike really.
That's interesting.
Except they kind of used the name there.
Oh, I beat the best score. Heck yeah.
So first place on the first track.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the key mechanics in this is kind of learning the landing on the different surfaces. So kind of depending on the angle. Yeah, so there you kind of wanted to tilt forward a little more. So it's all just kind of dependent on the surface you're landing on and trying to get the angle just right. And that's cool how they do the
color changing.
Yeah, kind of gives it like you're actually visiting different tracks.
Okay. I forgot that you could tap.
Yeah, the tapping lets you run back to your bike quicker. And then they've got a little bit of parallax scrolling in the background, which is kind of cool.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to hit that.
It does remind me a little bit of the Battletoads. Earlier, Laura was mentioning that it reminded her of the third level in Battletoads.
Yeah, the one with all the blockers. Yeah. And especially when it adds the part, there's some of the blocker stuff happening.
Yeah.
And it really reminded me of the Battletoads stuff. Okay, I got this. As much as I'd love to get first place here, I don't think I will.
You might.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Okay, come on, just gotta go fast. Like a cheetah. Those are fast.
I hadn't really thought about it before, but the way this sprite of the bike animates is kind of interesting.
It is?
How it's just kind of shaking up and down.
Oh yeah.
Gives it a... Because really it would be kind of silly if there was no animation in the bike. It would just look like it was like sliding along.
Yeah. I got 9.
Yeah, that one's definitely much more difficult.
Yeah. Okay, and you the second.
So yeah, Excite Bike has two different modes. The A mode is sort of just time trial, racing by yourself. And now we're trying out mode B, which lets you race against other racers. It's sort of just random, like, I don't know that it ever actually, like, tracks, like, oh, this is the number one, or, you know, I think it just throws in random riders kind of going along with you. I think it's definitely more tricky than the other mode, because you're,
Sure, okay.
have a lot more interactions to track.
Right.
But it added a little more challenge
Right.
and kind of randomness.
I overheated.
Yeah. Get the heat paused.
I did.
Yeah.
No. Right before the finish, too.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh,
And you still got it?
I
But
mean,
yes, you can see how like there was ones passing you,
Yeah.
and it's still. So it's. I think it just kind of throws in the random ones, but
yeah,
I think
half a second.
it adds some cool
Oh,
replayability and like I said,
Right.
kind of randomness, so that it's not just because if you were just playing the time trial one, you just kind of memorize the track and it's just exactly the same every time. Versus this one where you can
okay, buddy.
have a different experience every time you play, depending on where the opponents are at any given time.
Okay, there we go. That was actually the first time I overheated. Okay, so now we're getting to the design portion, which is going to be amazing.
So yeah, this was one of the key functionalities of Excitebike was the level editor. Definitely was a unique thing for that early on in the NES life, and I can't even think of. I'm sure there must be other level designer functionalities,
Right.
but this was by the NES before I had a computer, so there wasn't a lot of kind of the customization that you get with PC games. So it was a really cool feature, and like it was kind of my first foray into like game design or playing
Yeah.
with how you create games. So Laurel's going to create a level, and then I'll try my hand at playing her level here.
Which is going to be great because I'm just amazing at this.
So they basically have the letters mapped to all their different obstacle types, A through S.
I have tried making a level for Dad before, and he beat it really easily, so now I'm just trying to make it as impossible as possible.
And then I think at some point you get to the end and it just drops in the finish.
And you can add the finish before that if you want.
Yeah, if you want a shorter track. Alright, so I'm going to check out Laurel's level here.
Yeah. I tried to make it as impossible as I possibly could, so it's probably going to be very easy.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, okay.
That's...
Went a little bit overboard with those.
yeah.
Just a little bit. Oh, and that's the end.
Oh, that was quicker than I thought. 47. Okay, so now you try it.
Oh, yay. It's gonna go great.
See if you can beat 47. Yeah, this part is just, you almost have no chance of getting through.
Okay. No! I was kind of close though before I overheated. Like I wasn't expecting to finish that quickly.
Yeah, I think he got pretty good. So that was our quick look at Excitebike, another one of the black box original games that came out on the NES. And like I mentioned earlier, one of the earlier games I had in my collection. What did you think about Excitebike, Laurel?
I thought it was actually pretty great. Like I hadn't had a lot of experience with it. I think there was like a Mario Kart 8 track for Excitebike, and then I played through it a tiny bit before, but like, you know, I hadn't really gotten a full experience of the game, but it was actually really fun.
Yeah, it was one of the definitely the earlier games that had a level editor that I played with, and especially in recent years with like the Mario Maker series,
Right.
that sort of thing has become pretty popular. But definitely over the years, growing up, you know, before we were into programming and stuff, like my friends and I would really enjoy like the level editing functionality in games, kind of just having a little taste of being able to make your own game and design it. So that was always really cool, and definitely I think they put a lot in for being such an early game. One thing that was kind of interesting with that designer mode is that you'll see even in the US version there's a save and load
Right.
in the menu, and that was actually left in there from the Japanese version of Excitebike. There's actually a floppy disk accessory for the NES that lets you save games, which never came out in the US, but they sort of just left those menu items in there. On the US version, you can't actually save your tracks, but it's just kind of interesting tidbit that they left that in there for the US edition. So I think that's everything we have for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.